viewing from today? I'm just gonna give about a few, like 30 more seconds or so people can join. Hope everyone had a great weekend. Oh, Ohio. Hi. All right, well, I'm gonna get started. Hi everyone, welcome. Welcome back if you've tuned in before, or welcome if it's your first time. This is Cooking Together with My Food and Family. This is an Instagram and Facebook Live series that's designed to equip you with the knowledge and skills you need to conquer your kitchen and make cooking fun. My name is Lauren Bayer. I'm on the Kraft-Heinz Culinary Team. Welcome to my kitchen. This week we've got a fun treat for you. We are looking at ways to mix up and serve some of our Kraft mac and cheese, otherwise known as Blue Box, to your family. So today we're going to be starting with the Deluxe mac and cheese box, and we're going to be making Deluxe mini mac and cheese cups. So if you have any questions, please put them into the chat and I will try to get to them at the end. So let's get started. I am assuming that if you're watching this, you probably have at least one or two of these boxes in your pantry at home. And this recipe that we're gonna do today is really fun because it's gonna take the components that are already in the box, but we're going to make more of a traditional cheese sauce, and it's gonna kind of elevate the sauce, and the cheese sauce that is in this box usually is gonna give it this like nice creamy, cheesy, velvety texture. So it's gonna be really great. So what we're gonna start with is just 2 tablespoons of butter. And I'm gonna add that into my pan. And just get this oven on. Okay, I'm just gonna let the butter melt. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna create a roux. So what is a roux? A roux is fat and flour. And what it is it creates, it's kind of the building block of a lot of the cheese sauces that we know of, so like a bechamel. And what it does is it thickens the sauce. So it doesn't bring any flavor to it, or at least the one that we're using today is not gonna bring any flavor to it. It's just gonna help our cheese sauce achieve that nice thick texture. So I'm just gonna get this butter nice and melted. And I'll try to show you what's going on in my pan. And to that, I'm gonna add 1 tablespoon of flour. And this is gonna create our roux. So I'm gonna combine this. And what you wanna do is just cook this for about a minute or 2, just so the raw flour flavor cooks off. And I'm just whisking it to make sure that I don't get any lumps in there. I want to make sure my cheese sauce is really nice and smooth and creamy. So I'm just whisking it together so I don't get any chunks of flour in here. And I'll show you kind of how this is looking. And we'll cook it for about a minute or 2. You want your roux, this is a white roux, so you want it to have the texture and color of kind of like a wet sand. Traditionally, roux are gonna be about a 1-to-1 ratio. So if we use 2 tablespoons of butter, we'd use 2 tablespoons of flour, but we went a little bit lighter on the flour because the cheese sauce in our mac and cheese is really gonna help create that nice thick sauce for us, so our roux doesn't have to be as thick. Okay. I'm just getting this nice and combined. Now to this, I've got half a cup of milk. So I'm just going to add my milk in. And I'm gonna add it in slowly. And I'm just gonna keep whisking. And the reason for that, again, is that we don't want any lumps, you know? We want this to be nice and creamy and smooth. So if I add it slowly, I can make sure that I whisk out any lumps that might start to combine. Okay, and now I'm just gonna cook this for a minute or two until our sauce, or our cream sauce starts to get nice and thick. And I'll show you kind of how that's starting to look. So I always like to use a wooden spoon at this stage, and it helps me see how thick my sauce is getting, and when it's cooked and gotten thick enough, then I'll take it off the heat. I've got this cranked up a little higher so you don't have to watch me do this for a long time, but you could do this at a little bit of a lower heat as well. So you can see how nice and thick that got just from the milk, and that's from the roux. So I'm actually gonna turn off my heat now. And to this, I'm gonna add the packet of cheese sauce that is in the box already. And all we're gonna do is just stir it in and let it get a little warm. You can see it's gonna give it that nice golden color that we're used to. Okay, so you can see how beautiful that looks. So I actually already cooked the noodles that were in the box. I used the same pan here and just drained my noodles and put them into a bowl, which is really great because then I don't have to use two different pans. And I'm just gonna stir this new cheese sauce into my noodles. And from here, we're gonna add in a couple other mix-ins that are gonna just keep making this mix nice and creamy and delicious. So, to this, I'm going to add 1 egg, and that's just gonna be our binder. I've got 1/2 cup of Breakstone sour cream. That's again just gonna keep it super nice and creamy. And then I have, I'm using today, we've got about a cup and a half of our triple cheese, shredded cheese, that's with a touch of Philly. That's just gonna make it a little bit more creamy and delicious. And I'm gonna use 1/2 of it in this mixture, and we're gonna top our muffins with the other 1/2. So all I'm gonna do is stir this to combine our ingredients. And you'll see how nice and creamy this mixture gets. And it's really just, you know, taking what we have in the box and creating kind of a more homemade version using that roux, that cheese sauce that we're making on the stovetop. All right, so I've got my mixture all combined here. I have a full-size muffin tin, so 12 cups. Just gonna spray it with a little cooking spray. I always like to spray over the sink to make sure you don't slip or fall. And we're just gonna add the mixture into our muffin tin. Now, I'm using a spoon here. I would use maybe a great tool to maybe use would be an ice cream scoop. That might be a little bit easier. I couldn't find my ice cream scoop today. So a normal, regular spoon works totally fine. Just use what you have on hand. And that goes with some of the other ingredients. So we're using this touch of Philly, the 3 cheese, which is great. It's got, you know, different colors of cheese and different flavors in there, but really whatever you have on hand works. So I think like if your family likes something that was a little bit spicy, like pepper jack, that would be nice, or, you know, whatever you have on hand or can find at the store, that will work. So what we're gonna do is just keep filling these. Now, you don't have to be perfect with this, you know, just eyeball it. Some of these can get a little bit more full. And you can see how quickly this comes together with just a couple ingredients that you might already even have on hand. And the great thing about baking it in these muffin tins is it's kind of like built-in portion control. So you can just have one muffin and you feel satisfied. Okay, I'm not gonna make you watch me fill all of these, but you get the idea. So I've got the rest of my cheese here, and I'm just gonna sprinkle the tops of this. And we're gonna put it into a 350-degree oven for about 13 to 15 minutes. And the cheese is just gonna melt and get nice and golden brown. Great. So I'll pop this into my oven. Lucky for you, I already made a batch of this, so we can see how it looks when it comes out of the oven. This one, I'll go ahead and put to the side. So you can see how nice and golden brown and toasty these look. You'll just let them cool in the pan for about 5 minutes, and that just is so when you want to scoop one up, they're not super hot and they actually hold their shape and they keep their nice muffin shape. I have one here that I took out so you can see the shape and nice color that it makes. So that's all I had for today. This is such a great, super simple recipe to mix up something that you probably already have on hand in your pantry. I'm gonna check and see if there have been any questions as I've been talking. So just give me one moment. So someone's asking about if you can use anything other than butter for roux. Yes. And it kind of just depends on usage and flavor, but like I said, roux is fat and flour. So you can use oil. We use butter today. If you have margarine on hand, that should work. So any type of fat that you have, that should work fine. Butter gives it, you know, that nice buttery flavor that we love. Can you garnish the mac and cheese with parsley or other toppings? Yes, absolutely. I think parsley would be beautiful on this. If you wanted it to be more of an Italian one, you know, you could use more of like a mozzarella blend or an Italian blend cheese and top it with basil or a couple tomatoes. You could sprinkle breadcrumbs on here or panko, and that would give it a nice like crunchy topping. So I think, I don't know, I love hot sauce in my mac and cheese. I would stir in a little hot sauce or top that. So yeah, this is absolutely customizable to what your family likes. Does this work with other Kraft cheeses? Yes, like I said, the touch of Philly is a great one just because it really gives it that creamy texture. But you can absolutely use whatever you have on hand, whatever your family likes. Feel free to substitute that in. Can you freeze these and rebake? I am not sure. I have not tested that, but sometimes I do have concerns about freezing dairy and reheating it because cheese could potentially break when it reheats. You could have a lot of oil coming out. So I would recommend not doing that with this. But if you try it, let me know. We'd love to hear how it works out. All right, that looks like those are the only questions we have today. Like I said, we are doing mac and cheese blue box recipes all week long, so make sure to tune in again on Wednesday. Carla's going to be live. She's going to be making emoji mac and cheese cups, which is really fun for your family. And until then, let's keep cooking together. Thank you, everyone.